Well, welcome to the fourth FD seminar. My name is Dugan Hinchey, and I'll be doing the first part of the presentation with Brian doing the second part. And I'm going to give you a general overview of Moodle and what it can do and how we've kind of used it in the Technical Communication Education program, which is where I am right now. So without further ado. So what is Moodle? In many words, it's many things, but for us, it's a learning management system. It has a lot of strong support in Japan, which I think is a very important issue for us. There is the Moodle Association of Japan. There's also Japanese Moodle Partners and Moodle Moots, which are the local conferences that happen every year. This year it'll be in Tokyo. And actually it's happening this month. The Moodle Association of Japan, how it works is they actually give so much of their budget, operating budget, to Moodle headquarters, which is located in Australia. And they usually average about 18,000 Australian dollars in donations back to the Moodle project, which then pushes development for modules and the overall learning management system that is Moodle. So this has really affected how you see the path that Moodle has taken. So now we have kanji displaying of names and a lot of Japanese support for Moodle integration. And it's also bilingual. The whole menu structure has been translated in Japanese. All the help files are in Japanese. And there's also local Moodle chapters. There's a very strong Kansai Moodle group, and they have actually a Moodle cafe where they meet and discuss issues and just hang out and troubleshoot things with Moodle. So I think there's 3 chapters right now. So it's a very strong user base interest in Japan. This is how we use Moodle at the Technical Communication Education program. We have a total right now of about 14 courses that we're using. There's a couple of actually credited courses, also some seminars, and they're all online and students can access whenever they want. This is what the Moodle looks like. It's just a web page without being logged in. You have a simple calendar, we have this HTML block here, and then students will actually log in and access courses. So this is what it looks like. I've tried to include as much Japanese as I can. You can see the menu structure here. Anything else is all in Japanese and running in Japanese. So out of the box, Moodle looks like this, where you have kind of this generic page up here where you can put whatever you want, and then there's topics. And in the instance of us, and I think also with Brian, we've done these as classes. So the first class is actually these 2 sections here, and then each other class that for this English class is the rest of these actual sections. And you can push this little triangle here to untoggle display each course unit or class. And you can see the Japanese for that. So I'm actually going to do that here. So I've actually untoggled this, and now we see the first kind of unit or lesson in this class, which is getting them familiar with Moodle so that they can access their homework, find out where their grades are, know how to customize Moodle for themselves. And you see in this course page, these are the different things that Moodle does. They categorize it as activities. So these are things that students actually do. We have 2 activities here. There's a forum for general class news that I use to tell students if there's any issue, if I'm sick, or if there's a change of the classroom or anything like that. And then there's also a free talk where students post any questions they have about stuff. They can go in there. And then for resources, which are kind of passive things that students actually view, there's 4 of those here. We have web pages, which are these. The course welcome is a web page. Information about where the classroom is and how to get to it is there. There's a couple other web pages down here. And one URL, which is just a link to the campus mate to make sure they registered for the course. And lastly, we have blocks. So this is an example of a block. There's actually 3 blocks that are displayed here, and then 5 are docked along the side. Students or teachers or anyone, you can decide where you want things to display. So we could have actually another sidebar of blocks right here. My current setup is just this, but it's totally customizable with the layout and how you want it to display information. Okay, and taking you through all what Moodle can do. If we actually turn editing on, you'll see the difference. Now you have all these little icons pop up, and we can actually change and customize Moodle and make it how we want it. Generic icons, but this is the editing icon. We can drag and drop topics, sections, course materials around with this. There's all the help files are in these little question marks, which are bilingual in any language pack you install. And then you can highlight topics, hide topics from students. This is very nice, so if you highlight today's lesson or this week's topic, hide the other topics that you don't want students to actually see yet, but you will unhide in the future. And there's groups and grouping, which is quite powerful. So if you actually want to set students in specific groups and have them do group work, or have them see only certain things and not other things with regards to other groups, you can do all that with the grouping feature in Moodle. Okay, example of help. So this is the resources and the activities, which is a one-click add in Moodle. So if you actually look at the help file, you'll see it'll tell you what it is, right? And it's very nice with both languages. And currently, I think Moodle has 140 languages you could run this in if you wanted to. So it's very nice because you can see what it is, what it does. There's actually more information in every time you edit something, so there's lots of different little help buttons for everything. And it gives you a way to actually find out what you need to know, and then if you need to ask a question, how to ask the question to somebody who knows more than you do about Moodle. So it's very nice that way. Okay, so I'll take you through editing. So I've covered activities, resources, and these blocks that are here, which is kind of a lot. The last big feature of Moodle that's very nice and convenient is the ability to edit things in a standard interface. So if I hit this editing button for this first section right here, which is right, this little goals, this image, and these tasks is all one section. So I click the edit button, and this is what happens. We'll get displayed a what you see is what you get editor, right? In this case, it's the TinyMC HTML editor, which is great. I mean, this is the editor you'll use for all your Moodle stuff, or most of your Moodle stuff. The standard interface. If you can use Microsoft Office, you're probably fine using this, since it's just the same kind of layout. You've got all the text features you need for bold, italicized, justification, underlining text, fonts, colors, highlighting, all standard stuff, which is very easy. The best features for us probably is you can just upload and then embed pictures, movies, and files with a few clicks. So it's quite easy that way and nice. It'll just be displayed right here. If you actually want to get more into it, or techie, or you have experience in HTML, you can click the HTML alligator mouse here and see the actual code be displayed and tweak the code or do things that you want with that. So those are the four major features of Moodle. For the Technical Communication Education Division, we use mostly these activities and these resources, forums, assignments. Forums you're probably familiar with, right? Students or teachers can post and then reply, and you have this kind of documented history of what's the conversations being done. Assignments are uploading of usually PDFs or Word documents or something that teachers can then grade, or students can actually grade each other in workshops and things. Quizzes are basically what you think a quiz would be. That's what a quiz is. Glossaries are a kind of dynamic dictionary with embedded HTML linking and stuff. So you can actually make a working dictionary of something if you want. That's totally includes video and HTML and images, things. And then the standard resources are here. So that's what we've used, and the Education and Communication Division uses. But there's actually a lot of other features that we have never used yet, but you could use. For the activities, there's a lot. Wikis are available. These are all kind of one-click installs. You click on it, and then the activity becomes available. Then you actually give it a name, and you can customize the activity. So there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of other resources you can use too. And of course, it works very well in Japanese. And yes, that looks very nice. So moving along, lots of things to talk about. Blocks work a similar way. It's usually a one-click, and the block is added to the course page or whatever page you want it to be on. So you have, these are some of the docked blocks. So on the left-hand side of the screen, if you docked it, when you click on it, it looks like this. The whole menu is displayed, and you can access the menu of that block. So the calendar would actually display the calendar, right? The administration displays this with the grades, reports, and things. On the actual course page, if you're adding a block, it's just a one-click, and there's over 40 different little blocks that can display stuff. They're very nice for displaying information that students might need to know. So if you want them to write a quick comment about something, you can just have a comment block. Or if you need them to know how many people are there and what they're doing, if they need to contact somebody, or the progress that they have made in the course, it's very nice to just put those there for students. And there's a lot more blocks that I couldn't all display there. And again, full Japanese translation for most things. It's very nice. And if you do hit the help, it'll display in Japanese. And you can even customize where blocks display. So the block can be on the course page and then not be in the other pages that you have in Moodle. So if you just want the course progress on the course page, it stays there. And then you can have the quiz results be on the quiz page. Right? It's very, very customizable in that sense. Okay, so that's a lot of information. But those are the main features of Moodle: resources, activities, blocks, and the HTML editor. Right? How we use Moodle teaching English and trying to vet students' English ability and get them ready for the higher level English courses is we actually use this kind of setup. So this is one unit in this English course. And there's the goal of the course, the task that students will actually do, a simple quiz, and then the actual dialogue that they'll be doing in class and working with their partners and things. So this is quite nice. We like it because students can come in and do the quiz in class. They listen, watch this video, and there's like 4 or 5 comprehension questions. When they've attempted the quiz once, you'll notice that this is on. It unlocks this feature. So they try the quiz once, they get a check. If they tried it, it's completed. And then they can actually read the transcript of the actual conversation. So they can troubleshoot their own issues if they misheard something, or if they weren't sure what these speakers were actually talking about. They can do that here. And if they have any questions, they can come to me in class. So they're actually trying the activity in class and doing that. And Brian's going to talk more about the flipped classroom approach, which is what we're trying, which is called the Hanten Jugyo in Japanese. So we actually did that. It was really nice to have that, support for the students already embedded there. And then we installed these modules or these blocks here where I tied certain activities to the progress bar. So these are the core activities that students have to do first, because I want them to understand these things first, like how to take a quiz and how to do these things and what are important. Once they've covered these core modules or these core things, then they actually see their progress of the course right here displayed. So they have 12 activities in general to do. Right? They get the grade calculated in real time here, almost real time, calculated here. So they know exactly where they are in the course and what they have to do with regard to the core modules and the other activities, right? Which I thought was very nice. Okay, kind of jumping around a bit. There's another nice activity that we've used where you can basically give a little survey to students very quickly. So you input whatever question you have. You can have multiple questions, and students do the questionnaire, right? And you get the results very quickly. Because of the unique features of Moodle, you can actually force students to do this in a certain order, or you can have students do it anonymously or mostly semi-anonymously. You can see who has done it and who has not done it. So if you want to know if they did understand today's lecture, or if they had any questions, or what their actual issues are with course, or the course videos, or lectures, or something else, syllabi, you can have that information be collected right here and kind of displayed very nicely. For us, we were interested in why students were coming to the class, or their goals in English, and then if they were taking an online course before, right, kind of get us ready for the course prep and how to actually tailor the course to the students. So that's a very nice little module. Standard feature of Moodle is a lot of it can be exported to Excel or a CSV file, which will work in Excel. So logs of students, reports, a lot of the data collection that's done is automatic, and then you can work with it in Excel. So if you want to know exactly what's going on or make graphs or other things, it's very nice for report making. Okay, one more last thing to talk about very quickly. Another way we use Moodle, not just with our courses, is with a service we have called the Writing Lab for students. Students at JAIST publish and present, right? And they need maybe some help with writing academic papers or getting through the first initial draft stages with their publications. So we have a service called the Writing Lab where they come and get help with their writing, or specifically their academic writing. Before we did this, we had troubles with students walking in and trying to get help from us, but they didn't know what our services were, what we could do for them, and they didn't know what they really wanted themselves. That was the main issue. They approach us and say, I need help. And we would say, with what? And they say, I don't know, basically. So using Moodle, we could streamline the workflow to actually have students exactly know what we offer, have them submit in a specific way, and then we can specifically help them with what they need. So I'm going to show you the student paper submission. So this happens where students are already users, they log in, they know the process from our actual public website about how to submit and how to do everything. So they come in. Here's an example of one very standard student, right? Comes in, dear tutor, gives us the major, the conference they're going, tells us to look at the clear verb phrases, coherency, formality, and the paragraph structure of this publication that they're trying to get published, right, or going to present. And they upload the PDF or the Word doc or whatever they have right here. So that's great for us. We know exactly what they want us to do. And we know who the student is and what field they're in, right? So then as tutors, which we all are, all the teachers at the Technical Communication Education Program, also the Writing Lab tutors, can then figure out, well, who's best for this person, who knows more information science, has information science background than other tutors, which is great. Professor Holden, who's the Writing Lab coordinator, first comes in, he reads the paper, vets it, makes sure everything's okay, and then actually assigns a tutor. So he reads it here, then a tutor is assigned, which is Professor Mbasa in this case, who comes back after having read the paper and posts back and has a lot more recommendations that I couldn't fit in my slide down here. Usually it ends up with them meeting face-to-face after some initial recommendations have been acted on. So the student actually comes to the Writing Lab, meets Professor Mbasa, has a nice chat about the paper and what they should do to actually make it more publishable. Another great feature is this student is in a group by himself. I'm looking at separate groups, right? So they're in a group by themselves. No other students can ever see this student's group or access any information about this student in this forum, but the teachers on the courses, which are us, can. So it's really great for division of labor in that sense. So all the teachers can access this student, see what they're doing, join the conversation, and all of this conversation, these 3 posts, gets automatically pushed out to our email. So as soon as the student posts, we, all 5 of us, or 4 of us, get this email, this initial email. So we know what's going on. Professor Holden reads it, he acts on it first, but we already have an inkling of what's going to come through the workflow. There'll be an information science paper to someone to look at. And then we know any of the other issues. So it's kind of very collaborative in that sense, and it makes us manage our time a lot more efficiently. So that was one thing that was great. If you do click on a student, you'll get this kind of layout of the information, which is very useful for us. We can see what they're doing or what they have done. So it's sort of a student information service for us. We can see where they progressed in our courses, and probably we can kind of estimate where their English ability is, if they've done the writing class or not. That's kind of important if they're writing in English. You can literally drill down through and find all sorts of information about exactly what they've done through logs, course participation, and all that if you want to. It's all there. So it's very nice. Okay, and I'm almost out of my time. I want to end with, there's a lot of support. So I do a lot of reading and research about digital education and content management systems and learning management systems. For Japan, I would say Moodle is probably the best fit just because of this. There's the Moodle Association of Japan. They even have a really nice bilingual newsletter. They're 7 years strong. They now have Moodle partners, which are the official companies that do Moodle training, Moodle hosting, Moodle module development, right? If you need a specific piece of software that needs to fit with Moodle, they will do it for you. And as always, the Japanese menus are always at 100%. So for translation, there's a great team of people in Japan and overseas that are very interested in keeping Moodle updated and translated. And there's also the yearly Moodle Mood, which is happening soon, where a lot of also training and workshops are being held. So you can actually go and visit, or you can do the Moodle cafes and everything. Okay, that's the first part of our presentation. I'm going to hand it off to Brian.